second row, Mason Young.
Jeff, you got Gavin Sawchuk some opportunity against Tulsa. What's the key for him to being more efficient with the opportunities?
Yeah, I think just playing himself back into shape. You know, this is a guy that hadn't done much since August 2nd. He practiced a little bit the week before. He had a good week of practice, but then you get into those live situations, and of course they're a little different. So just getting him reps, that was invaluable, getting him back going. So look forward to him getting back to himself.
You also got Caden Green and Jacob Sexton, some of their first significant reps of the season. What did you see from those guys?
Yeah, both guys that are going to be really good players for us. They're not quite there yet, but they're continuing to work at a really high level. I love their mindset and their toughness and how they approach the game. So guys that we look to have, big roles here as they move forward throughout their career.
Sit over there and go to Justin.
Hey Jeff, Austin Stogner's not a guy who's put up some crazy numbers yet, but just in terms of maybe what people aren't seeing, what is he doing? His veteran impact that's really helping you guys out.
Yeah, he's continued to be a really good leader for us and a guy again that's played a bunch of ball and done a great job in that room. He's approached it the right way. He spends a ton of time in our building, and he's going about it with a pro mindset, and that's been good to see. So he'll continue to do that, and the game will reward him too for that.
Over here, Jesse.
Ted, that running back room as a whole through 3 weeks, maybe how much of a balance has it been to, like you mentioned, ride the hot hand while also trying to get all those guys on the field and get them opportunities?
Yeah, there's a fine line in it, and we're continuing to work through that. But again, guys have played quite a bit here through the first 4 weeks, or the first 3 weeks was really good to get Gavin back on the field and get him quality reps. So as we move forward, it'll be a little more of the hot hand and who's playing really well at the time and in the moment as we're inside the game.
Bob?
Yeah, Jeff, clearly, Nick had his best performance. What do you remember about last year and the struggles he went through and how he fought through it?
Yeah, just being the same kid every day, as hard as it was, him not being healthy and having the soft tissue issues and going through different things when he knew he had the ability to be on the field and play and make an impact with where we were in that room this time last year. Him just staying true to who he is. He's got an incredible family. He's got an incredible future, and he's a young man that has just continued to work and put himself in positions of success. Was really fun to see him come out of his shell a little bit on Saturday and have some success.
Eli?
Jeff, in the context of the run game, what's been your evaluation of the offensive line so far, and where do you feel like that group still has to go? Yeah, we've got to continue to get better. Obviously, as we move forward, the unit that we're facing this week going to be the best unit we've played up to this point, and we've got to continue to play guys like Caden and like Jacob so that we're able to play multiple guys at the front spot. I think we ended up playing 10 last week. Troy also has played a lot of ball for us here in the first 3 weeks, which has been good to see. The run game, we need more production from that standpoint. And we need to create some explosives at times in the run game. So we'll look forward to that being a big part of who we are as we're moving forward as well. You talk about that stuff. Has it felt more like difficult to get guys into a rhythm, or has it been something at the front about kind of the scheme and everything?
It's a mix of things as you go back and watch the tape. Has something to do with the backs at times, or entry angles, or whatever it may be, winning our one-on-ones when we have the opportunity to in space. But again, feel good about where the group is. Need them to have a great week of work as we go on the road.
James?
Jeff, is your left guard position unsettled, or are you just working guys through because you have talent? And also, on defense, you talked about Cincinnati a little bit, but they're pretty good statistically. What do you see out of them as a whole?
Yeah, we're going to continue to roll some guys up front. We've got guys that deserve to play, and those guys have played, and they'll continue to. With what we're seeing out of Cincinnati is a front that's really good. They're big, they're long, they're physical, and the strength of their defense to me is that front. So it'll be a great challenge for us as we go on the road.
Jeff, you guys have been extremely successful on third down. I know you talk about winning first and second down to set up success to set up the success, but you also completed 3 third-and-long situations. Can you talk about just your third down success?
Yeah, it's been good to see guys make competitive plays. You know, when guys are wide open, you pitch and catch. That's fun and it's good. But seeing guys make really competitive plays like Jay Gibbs' play on 3rd and 12, which was a huge play in the game at that point, was great to see. And we got to continue that trend. You know, we're going to have guys open at times, but man, when you're one-on-one and you got a chance to go make a competitive play, make the play. And I think that was the best thing coming out of Saturday.
What about Dylan's decision-making in those situations too, making the right reads? And he's been really good at that too.
Yeah, it has been good. Big boys have done a really nice job keeping him clean. And that's been a big part of it too, giving him the ability to sit in there and play through his progression and not have to escape and get out of it too early.
Ryan?
Yeah, Jeff, sort of sticking with Dylan there. We've seen what he's been able to do just physically, but compared to where he was a year ago, what's the biggest difference you've seen in the non-physical way that where his game management, the mental side of things, just the way that he's handled that part of being a quarterback?
Again, I think he's in a comfort level right now that he wasn't in this time last year, and he spent a bunch of time in the building last year. He's spending a ton of time in the building right now, so that part of it hasn't changed. Again, he had to go through some things last year that were hard, and I think that's matured him in a way to have a really stern edge about him and how he's preparing and playing with the chip on his shoulder, and he's got to continue to do that.
I imagine you always thought that there would be that progression this year in this second year, but was there a time or a moment when you started getting a sense of just what the difference would be?
You know, when he got back in January and just the way he worked and through winter workouts, and that had not a lot to do with ball, but it had a lot to do with leadership and toughness and edge and knowing who he was and being true to himself. Seeing that was something that was eye-opening for me because, again, he's operating with a real edge right now, and he's got to continue to do so.
Jeff, the package with Jackson Arnold, have you been able to put your finger on why exactly that hasn't maybe worked to the degree that you guys thought it might, and is that something that you guys want to stick with going forward?
Yeah, we'll continue to find ways to mix it up, you know, and put him in positions of success when he's in the game. The other day, looking back, wish I would have done maybe a couple of different things with him in there. Felt good about the 2 things that we had in the game plan, which were obviously the ones that got up. But again, we'll find ways to put him in positions of success moving forward.
Ryan?
We've seen the depth with the wide receivers that you guys have built through the non-conference. As these games tighten, how do you keep managing that rotation? Because you guys move so fast, a lot of times you just want to keep it rolling. The guys that start the drive finish. Like, how do you manage that to keep those guys in?
Yeah, just through great communication on the headsets from position coach to me being upstairs, just making sure that we're talking through when there is stoppage or when it is slowed down, being able to roll guys and get guys in, being able to change personnel throughout drives. On Saturday when it slowed down and we had opportunities to do so. So we'll continue to look at that in the flow of it and in the middle of games.
Okay, left side, 3rd row. Big.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Just tell me a little bit about Jalil Farouk. I know he had the 62-yard return on the opening kickoff. What was that like?
It was good until the end of it.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to do a great job taking care of the rock, but Jalil has been great with the ball in his hands. I've said that, 100 different times, and he'll continue to be that for us. Finding ways to get it to him along with some other guys and making sure they're having opportunities in space with the football. So proud of the way he played. I'm really proud of the way he bounced back after that and went and had the day that he had, played tough, and was proud of him for it.
Okay, way back, John Hoover.
Yeah, Jeff, is it important in college football, can it be a priority for an offense to have a quote-unquote identity? Is that a thing, or is that a media creation where what is your identity? And if it is, what's the identity for this Oklahoma offense?
Yeah, I think it is important to have an identity. Hopefully when people watch us, they see us playing really fast, being fearless, and having great physicality about the unit, and that's who we want to be. We want to be an offense that's on the attack, that has great balance, and it's going to take what the defense gives us. And so that to us is who we want to be every single Saturday.
How does that change over the course of the season, or does it? Do you evolve? Do you get more physical against certain teams? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is what you're getting on the other side of the football. If you have the ability to sit back there and pitch and catch it and throw it all over the yard because that's what you're being presented, then do that. If the box is incredibly light and you got a chance to go run the football 74 times, go do that. So putting guys in positions of success, that's our job. But ultimately playing fast, being fearless in how we call it, and having great physicality are the three things that, when people watch us, that they see that.
Right side, Chris.
Yeah, Coach, how much does a guy like Cincy's Dante Corleone affect your game plan this week, and what are some things you can do to try to neutralize him Saturday?
Yeah, he's a guy that's played incredibly well. They've got a bunch of guys really that have played incredibly well. Again, it's a big, long, physical group, and we've got to do a great job being able to mix it up, changing the tempo, being able to do some things where we are huddling and we're slowing down and making sure that we've got the right guys at it just because of some of the different presentations that we're getting defensively. So we'll continue to do that, being able to mix it up and change it up and varying the tempos as we play.
Back left, Tim.
Jeff, coming back to the offensive line as it relates to the run game, you say we need to improve. Where do those improvements need to come, and what areas are you happy with?
Yeah, again, it all depends on, what situation you're in. Is it a short yardage situation? Is it a PN10? What is it? And then the next part of it is, from an improvement standpoint, there's so much of it that goes into the back's entry angles and where he is, where he's playing through the line of scrimmage and making sure that we're clean from that standpoint. So it is, the five big boys, it's the tight end, it's the back, it's the QB, all working together to make sure we're maximizing every single carry. I think the biggest thing is if we go block a run for 7 yards, quote unquote, then we need to at least gain 7 yards. You'd like to be able to go block a run for 7 yards and gain 25, and that's what I mean by winning our one-on-ones. So we've got to maximize that. Continuing to clean up fundamentally across the board for everybody is a huge part of it, and we'll continue to focus on that and work on that.
You mentioned Jalil Farouk being so good with the ball in his hands. What makes him so special with the ball in his hands?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you look back and watch just his high school tape. This is a kid that played a ton of running back. So naturally, he's a strong-bodied guy that can win one-on-ones and be able to run through some trash. So those are the things that stick out for sure.
Right side, second row, James.
Hey, Coach, was there an effort to kind of go out there and try to make a big play at the very beginning of the game like you did this week, just after what happened with SMU? Give it through that long shot.
Really felt like the first play of the game was a play that had answers. I had a chance to throw the post and going into it, but thought the ball very easily could have gone to a couple other places. Just so happened to get the picture that we got and was able to win over the top. So felt like that, going into it was going to create a completion more than anything, more than just being explosive, but knew it had a chance to do that as well.
Jeff, along those lines, I think Saturday was maybe the first time this season that both Andrell and Jalil really had a lot of production. Maybe just how important was that to get both those guys going, and what did that maybe show about their potential as a duo on the perimeter? Yeah,
I think it's a huge deal, just making sure that we're balanced from outside left to outside right, Nick having the production, then having the production in the slot, and truly being able to put the ball at a bunch of different places on the field. As you sit there and you want to be able to attack all areas. And so having guys have production in the slot, outside left, outside right, at tight end, when we needed it was huge.
You mentioned Nick there, obviously the big game on Saturday. Maybe just how important was that for him going into conference play to have a game like that?
Yeah, it was huge for him just to, again, continue to create confidence. He's played well when he's been in there. He's had some production, but just to be able to go play the way he played, proud of him for how he's playing without the ball in his hands too. People don't see that a lot, but the way this guy plays without the football is impressive. And so, again, he's being rewarded for how he operates every single day.
Time for two more. Back to Eli.
Jeff, when you talk about efficiency in spring and summer and then over 3 games, I think you guys are converting at 20% better, right, on third downs. What are the elements specifically on third down that have carried through those 3 games?
Yeah, I think we've been in some pretty good situations. Again, we did convert on some 3rd and longs the other day, but we're pitching and catching right now. That's a huge part of it. Our decision making is good right now, and big boys have kept number 8 clean. And so when those things happen, you got a chance to go operate. We're going to need that again on Saturday for sure.
And back to John Hoover.
Jeff, when we talk to offensive linemen, we hear a lot of talk about the word chemistry and togetherness and stuff like that. You have to play that way to be an effective unit. But when you have shuffling at one of those positions, guys in and out or different guys, does that affect chemistry? Does it affect the pace at which you develop that chemistry?
Yeah, there's got to be a heightened urgency and communication and making sure that everybody's on the same page all the time. You know, I think with the guys that are playing and rolling in there, it's because there's not a drop-off in how we're playing, obviously, and there's not a big issue from a communication or a chemistry standpoint because we don't want to put that at risk. But it takes, you know, urgency by Rame and whoever the tackle is playing next to the guy and making sure that everybody's doing a great job communicating Monday through Saturday. You know, once they get in the building today and everybody being on the same page, that's definitely part of it.
Jeff.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff.